What is a secret you know about someone that could really ruin their life? My brother had an affair with one of my friend's moms. She used to give him a lift to work when he was 18 years old, and she started being suggestive on one drive, so they pulled over, and you know what? This continued for a long time, over 6 months. She ended up getting obsessed with him, and he blocked her on all social media and his phone and basically buried his head in the sand. Her husband is a huge skinhead scary guy that owns one of the pubs, and her son is a lifelong friend of mine. None of them know. He only told me, as she, seemingly, didn't tell anyone. It's pretty weird having such a weighted secret. That mom is weird as fuck. Too bad the husband will see it as this dude fucked my wife and not my wife fucked this dude. Your bro is an actual motherfucker. This guy motherfucks. I know that the director of the school I was going to had a same-sex affair with my math teacher. His wife never found out. I seem to be the only person who knows that I have no idea what I'm doing. Don't tell my employer. Spoiler alert, if you know how to fake it well enough that you've lasted more than a month or two, you do, in fact, know what you're doing. Sincerely, a guy who's about to get a real big promotion because his boss is quitting, and will be telling himself this over and over again for the next few months. A co-worker bragged, at work, about losing his virginity the night of his bachelor party, but his wife still doesn't know and thinks they lost their virginity to each other on their wedding night. It's a very big deal to her and would most likely end in their divorce if she ever found out. He waited all that time. Why would he throw it away on a stranger and brag? That's crazy, because people are all sorts of fucking stupid. I mean, there's a spectrum of all kinds of stupid people are. Source: I take 911s and dispatch cops for a living for the last 15 years. I done heard some shit. How penis stuck in microwave. My mom told me my stepfather is not my stepsister's biological father. My stepsister has no idea. Here's a little more information. My stepfather knows he is not the biological father. He found out when my stepsister had some blood work done as a baby. She's O negative. That isn't possible based on his blood type. He confronted his now ex-wife about it and she said it didn't matter. She said my stepsister was the result of an affair that was a one-time thing and that my stepfather raised her as his own and that shouldn't change. Also, I will never tell her. It's not my secret to tell. Besides, my stepfather is her father as far as I'm concerned. She's smart, kind and a hard worker in large part due to him raising her, so I don't care if they don't share the same bloodline. He's an amazing man and I consider him a one of my dad's too. I know his kink. He knows mine. It's basically mutually assured destruction if either of us ever turns into that big an asshole. Guy at school told me he sucked his brother's dick. Then he had a paranoid attack and made up a fake story about me to destroy me in case I destroyed him first, which I had no intention of doing. Years ago was trawling sketchy personals listings and came across my then Starbucks manager. He not only posted this face, but I could also see his shitty tattoos, so it was definitely him. Anyhow, he was servicing men and women starting at $100. I never told anyone and I hated the fact that I'd seen his penis. My friend had sex with his wife's sister long before they got married. She has no idea. Let me clarify. Wife is the one who has no idea. When it happened, my friend and his wife had just started hooking up. I don't think he ever thought they would get married. This happened in my family. My uncle had kids with my aunt, then divorced her, had kids with and married her younger sister. My cousins are both cousins and siblings to each other. He was not my grandparents' favorite person. Uncle Daddy. Wouldn't really ruin his life, but it would be embarrassing. One of my buddies is a furry, like a massive furry. I was looking for some old Call of Duty videos we made in like 2009. I was just searching the old gamer tags, trying to figure out where they were, and a page for a furry website popped up. It had all his basic info on it, with an up-to-date age. I looked around the page and found an IRL pic from his room that I recognized. It had like 8 years of almost daily uploads, interactions on there. Haven't told anyone, can't really. Not going to be the guy that just bullies him or tells our other friends. He's not hurting anyone. But I'm also not gonna tell him I know, cause that would be mad awkward. I'm terrified I'm gonna let it slip when I'm drunk. Wonder how many closet furries are going to break into a cold sweat when they read this. I went to university with a guy who became a very successful drugs dealer on the dark web. He made tens of millions, then quietly retired somewhere in Asia and opened a vegan restaurant. His wife and kids don't have a clue. Last we spoke he said he still held most of the Bitcoin he collected back then and it's worth 9 digits now. I don't want to say much more. He's the nicest guy who just unwittingly stumbled into a dubious windfall. So he has, at minimum 100 million. Damn, I feel like an idiot for selling drugs for actual cash now. My adopted daughter's biological mother had severe mental health issues, and her drug addiction killed her. These stemmed from the fact that she knew she was the product of an incestuous rape, and it was not kept secret. I don't ever want my daughter to find out, because I'm afraid of what it could do to her psychologically. A former colleague denied vacation requests for staff so he could instead approve a request for a subpar employee that he kissed at an office party. He's on an H-1B and if he were fired would have to go back to India and his wife would find out what happened. He's too lazy to apply for a visa change to get off the H-1B and is a shitty manager in general. Sounds like you earned a raise and all the vacation time you want. A good friend of mine is Indian and gay, which she knows her family won't accept. She about to have an arranged marriage to a man, who is also gay. Neither of their families know the truth and are excited about the upcoming wedding. The groom's boyfriend is part of the wedding party. They plan to have children via IVF at some point. Given the circumstances, this is a pretty good marriage, and good luck to them and their other partners. One of my co-workers smokes meth at work. In the last 3 months I've found probably half a dozen pipes she's left behind because she's too fucked up to remember to hide them. About a month ago she started leaving these passive-aggressive notes, usually when the boss shows up, about how she's the only one who does her job. I showed her the folder on my phone and told her if she leaves another bullshit note for me to read, I'll call the boss, then I'll call DHR. I don't give a fuck about the job, but I'll be fucked before I let some tweaker get me fired. The all meth pipe blackmail tactic. I dig it. I see you've played spoony pipey before. I had sex with my Mormon boyfriend before and after he went on his mission, and also either directly before or even after he'd proposed to his now wife. He didn't think it was particularly important to tell me that he'd found a good Mormon fiancé tilde copyright in another town already. This is a big no-no in the Mormon church. As someone who grew up Mormon, this is the understatement of the century. My mom is the most straight-laced, uptight person you can imagine and she works very high-level financial jobs for the government. If you looked up professional woman in the dictionary it would probably just be a picture of her. What no one else knows is that she has a tattoo on the back of her leg of a bear with penises instead of legs like where its legs would be. There are just massive dicks. She wears tight sore pants to cover it all the time. As far as I know I'm the only person that knows about it. She was a very wild teenager and met up with an aspiring tattoo artist, aka Rondo with a tattoo gun, in a hotel room to get a tattoo of a bear. When she was 16 the guy got a little excessively creative and gave her a bear with dicks for legs. It is so vulgar that if anyone saw it I think there's a good chance she'd lose her job, or at least have some serious explaining to do. I once asked her why she doesn't get it removed and she says it's her symbol to her stupid youth. I'm sure I'm not literally the only person that knows, but I am pretty confident I'm the only significant person in her life that knows or could connect the tattoo back to her. She doesn't want to remove it or get work done over it. I think she kind of likes Stick Bear now, truly as a nostalgic symbol to stupidity. I asked her if I could take a picture for the thousands of kind internet strangers and she politely declined. Understandably, at popular request, I made a digital recreation of the image found here. I'm laughing so hard at this image, I kind of want it on a t-shirt or something. But I, too, am an allegedly professional woman, so I couldn't actually wear it if I had it. My father passed 2 weeks ago. My uncle and his wife plundered his bank account and are trying to tell me I'm not next of kin, so kicked off when I froze my father's account. They were gonna keep his disability benefits going in for 6 more weeks. Because they did this with a few family deaths pre-internet era, they thought they could do it again. They have 2 weeks to return all monies or I'm reporting them myself, although I assume the bank is now onto them. One guy I know in high school wears diapers to bed because he still pisses the bed. He's popularish, so I could spread that like wildfire if I wanted to, but we're buddies. He doesn't know I know, and that's the way I'll keep it. You're a good friend. Everyone has some sort of issue and you just happen to know his. I hope you'll keep his secret, and he is able to get past this one day. My co-worker drunkenly confessed to a murder to myself and another co-worker. He told us the story, the details, including the victim, the location of the body, and the motive. I've actually reported it to law enforcement, but they never followed up with me. They either don't believe me, or they have investigated and found nothing to prove, or they're still investigating it. It's possible he made the whole thing up, but I've literally seen him pull a gun on someone before, and almost kill them. I know he's killed people on deployment before. I just also know him enough as a person to know he is probably being honest about it. My grandfather thinks that my cousin moved to Rome last year to live with her partner. He is very unstable mentally and lives in full-time care. In reality, my cousin committed suicide last January. My family lied to my grandfather in fear of what he might do to both himself and others. If he found out, all of the care home staff are in on the lie, and my aunt and uncle send him fake letters, postcards from her every few months to maintain it. An ex-friend that I had made her dog eat her out. I didn't know about it until she wasn't in my life anymore. I walked in on my ex-girlfriend letting the dog lick her out while she brushed him. It was clinical as fuck. It was the only way she could get him to not move while she brushed him. Zero enjoyment on her face. It was multiple levels of odd. Is this real? Is that why she's your ex? Thanks for watching. Why not join the snooker by subscribing to the like button down below?